Part 1. Precision is when you stop proving and start delivering. You think adding emotion makes you powerful. You think showing intensity makes you impressive. You think pushing harder makes you more precise. But cold mind knows. Emotion doesn't sharpen action. It muddies it. Every extra word, every extra gesture, every extra spike of feeling dilutes the cut. You're not striking clean. You're leaking noise. Precision isn't loud. It isn't messy. It isn't emotional. It's clean, sharp, deliberate. The less noise you carry, the sharper the cut. The less proving you chase, the more delivering you command. You don't win by swinging harder. You win by cutting where it counts. Real precision starts the moment you stop feeding your execution with emotional excess. Real precision starts the moment you stop feeding your execution with emotional excess. When you strip the noise, you reveal the edge. When you drop the emotion, you unlock the cut. Part 2. Why emotion makes your actions sloppy and weak. You think emotion sharpens you. You think it gives you fire, makes you unstoppable, gives your moves extra edge. But cold mind knows. Emotion doesn't make you sharper. It makes you noisier. And noise doesn't amplify cuts. It dulls them. It scatters them. It leaks them. Here's the architecture. When you act emotionally, you don't act cleanly. You overtalk. You overmove. You overcommit. You overexplain. You stop aiming for the target. You start performing for the feeling. Think about your last heated argument. Did you stay on point? Did you keep your words surgical? Your actions aligned? Your energy tightly targeted? Or did you escalate? Did you rush to prove a feeling, not a fact? Did you burn time, defending your image, rather than advancing the mission? Cold mind exposes the hidden pattern. Emotion pulls you sideways. It drags your attention from strategy to story, from execution to self-performance, from cutting clean to swinging wildly, from measured moves to reactive bursts. Every surge of pride makes you overpromise. Every leak weakens your strike. And every time you leak, you lose command. You think you're gaining force, but you're losing structure. You think you're making an impact, but you're burning in place. You're not cutting cleaner. You're flailing harder. Look at elite performers, snipers, master negotiators, surgical leaders, strategic communicators. They don't kill emotion. They kill noise. They hold internal awareness, but they filter external action. They don't confuse feeling with movement. They don't confuse reaction with precision. Precision isn't deadness. It's discipline. The discipline to ask, does this serve the objective? Or just serve my emotion? Does this word move the outcome? Or just soothe my ego? Does this step advance the frame? Or just discharge tension? Most people never make that cut. They let emotion ride shotgun. They let emotion contaminate decisions. They let emotion blur the blade. And then they wonder why. Their actions don't hit clean. They wonder why. They keep burning energy, but shifting no outcomes. They wonder why. They feel exhausted, but they're standing in the same place. Cold. Mind knows. Precision comes when you channel. You strip unnecessary words. You strip unnecessary gestures. You strip unnecessary tension until only the core movement remains. Emotionless precision isn't about emptiness. It's not about being numb. It's about cutting the excess so the strike lands without wasted energy, It's about removing the leaks, so the force channel's clean. Until you learn to separate signal from spike, goal from gratification, outcome from emotional release, you'll keep confusing rawness for sharpness, and you'll keep losing power. With every emotional leak, you refuse to seal. Part 3. Why the emotionless mind cuts deeper, faster, cleaner. Most people think, if you remove emotion, you slow down. If you cut out the fire, you cut out the force. If you mute the intensity, you lose the edge. Cold mind knows the truth. Emotionless doesn't mean slower. It means clearer. Here's what happens. Inside a precision-driven mind, there's no battle between ego and target. No swirl of, how do I look? How do I sound? Do they approve? Will they like me? There's only, what serves the outcome? What hits the mark? What cuts clean? Without emotional interference, you conserve massive energy. You don't burn mental fuel, second-guessing yourself. You don't waste time, proving, posturing, pleasing. You don't spill attention on irrelevant details or imagined threats. Every ounce of focus funnels directly into deliberate execution. Emotionless precision doesn't drain you, it saves you. It locks your system onto the essential. Minimal movement, minimal words, maximum impact. Look at the strategist, who says little, but when they speak, the room recalibrates. Look at the operator, who doesn't chase small wins, but lands the decisive strike at the exact moment it counts. Look at the negotiator, who ignores bait, sidesteps emotional traps, and calmly maneuvers into the strongest position. These people aren't emotionally dead. They're emotionally sealed. They feel the waves, but they don't surf them. They register tension, but they don't amplify it. They notice spikes, but they don't attach to them. They sense urgency, but they don't collapse into it. They hold tension until it breaks others. They wait until the system bends first. And when it bends, they strike once and reshape everything. The result? They stay faster, because they stay uncluttered. They stay sharper, because they don't blunt their blade on irrelevant noise. They hit deeper, because they move only when the move actually counts. They waste nothing. They leave no extra marks. They deliver only. What shifts the system? Cold mind knows. Emotion tempts you to burn energy on things that don't advance the frame. It pulls you into side games, emotional loops, attention traps that makes you think you're engaged when you're actually just scattered, distracted, bouncing. But when you drop the noise, you drop the friction. And when you drop the friction, you unlock a kind of speed that's clean, not frantic. You move clean. You anchor sharp. You deliver only what matters. The emotionless mind isn't frozen. It's aerodynamic. It slices through distractions and delivers only what matters. It stops wasting action to prove. It starts cutting action to deliver. Part 4. Emotionless execution. 3 steps to cut noise and hit the mark. Precision isn't luck. It's not talent. It's not natural instinct. Precision is an architecture. Cold mind doesn't wait for it. Cold mind builds it. Deliberately, mechanically, without emotional excess. Here's how. Step 1. Clean the input. Most people make decisions based on contaminated data. They don't separate raw facts from emotional overlays. You hear a harsh tone. You assume they dislike you. You see a delay. You assume something is failing. You detect silence. You assume rejection or disapproval. But cold mind strips off the emotion. It asks, what's the raw input? Without personal attachment, without emotional coloring. Not, they're angry at me, but their tone increased. Not, I'm failing, but this attempt didn't land. Not, they're ignoring me, but no response has arrived yet. Clean input is the foundation, because you cannot execute precision on polluted signals. If the system you're feeding is already biased, no strategy will sharpen it. Clear signal equals clear system. Distorted signal equals noisy execution. Precision begins at the root. Step 1 is always clean what you see, clean what you hear, clean what you process. Step 2, lock the objective. Once you've stripped the emotional noise, you aim. Most people drift in their actions because they haven't locked onto the real target. They chase validation, not outcome. They seek emotional victories, not structural shifts. They want to feel better, more than they want to. Advance the architecture. Cold mind asks a hard question. What actually matters here? What moves the needle? What shifts the system? What cuts through noise and creates structural impact? If it doesn't serve the objective, it's dead weight. If it drags you sideways, it's a trap. Locking the objective anchors your strike. It stops you from shooting sideways, from flailing emotionally, from burning energy on irrelevant fronts. Without that lock, you're just noise with aimless fire. Step 3, deliver with sharpness. Now, you move, but not emotionally, not to vent, not to posture, not to prove yourself. You move only to deliver. You craft the minimum necessary action. That maximizes outcome. One clear sentence, not a flood of justifications. One direct action, not scattered attempts. One targeted reply, not an emotional unraveling. Cold execution is surgical. You don't flinch. You don't rush. You don't overserve. You apply just enough pressure at just the right point for just the necessary shift. No more, no less. Emotionless execution isn't robotic. It's disciplined. You feel, but you don't feed. You sense, but you don't scatter. You register, but you don't overreact. You hit. Clean. Precise. Done. Cold mind knows. The more emotion you inject, the more noise you create. The more noise you create, the less clean your strike. The less clean your strike, the less control you hold. Precision doesn't come from effort. It comes from the cut. Part 5. The one who said little, hit once, and silenced the room. The room was loud. Fast talkers, sharp opinions, everyone scrambling to prove, to impress, to dominate the space. Except one. He sat still, unmoved, unrushed, not because he lacked opinions, not because he was disengaged, but because he knew a simple truth. The loudest person rarely controls the room. The most precise one does. For most of the meeting, he said nothing. He watched. He tracked. He noticed who was posturing, who was overcompensating, who was deflecting, and who was wasting energy. He didn't jump in. He didn't chase attention. He waited. Then came the moment. a high-stakes question, was thrown directly at him. The room leaned in. Everyone expected a fast reply. Most people in his place would rush to answer, filling the air with justifications, over-explaining, trying to prove their sharpness. He did none of that. He paused. He held eye contact. He let the silence stretch. He breathed, once, calmly. He stayed perfectly still. The tension in the room thickened. People shifted uncomfortably, waiting for him to break the gap. And then, when the silence had peaked, he spoke. One sentence. Clean, director. No fluff. No extra. A single surgical hit. The moment his words landed, the room recalibrated. The loudest voices fell quiet. The scattered focus snapped inward. He hadn't just answered. He had shifted the atmosphere. He hadn't just participated. He had reframed the game. Cold mind sees what others miss. He wasn't passive. He was waiting for the exact strike. He wasn't scared to speak. He was calculating the one move that would cut through where 10 frantic moves would have only scattered noise. This is emotionless precision in live action, not deadness, not ego-driven detachment, not emotional shutdown, but the deliberate discipline to wait, to observe, to time, and to deliver. Only when the strike truly shifts the system. When you move like this, you conserve your energy. You let others drain themselves, burning fuel on noise and posturing. You let the room tire itself out, trying to fill the silence. You command. And when the precise moment arrives, you apply minimal force for maximal effect. One hit. Clean. Decisive. The loudest person doesn't dominate. The most precise one does. The one who leaks nothing. The one who holds longer. The one who outlasts the room. The one who understands. Real power isn't about filling the space. It's about owning the exact breath. That shifts the room. Cold mind knows. Precision isn't about showing off. It's about shaping, not loudly, not wastefully, but sharply, deliberately, unmistakably. Part 6, final message. Stop wasting cuts. Start delivering clean hits. You don't need more noise. You don't need more energy. You don't need more fire. You need sharper cuts. Cold mind sees the pattern. Most people waste themselves before they ever land a strike. They leak emotion. They scatter effort. They chase reactions. And by the time they swing, they're already off balance. Precision begins when you cut the waste. You stop swinging wildly. You stop proving endlessly. You stop feeding the urge. To show how hard you're trying, you build a strike that is minimal, targeted, and effective. Not every reaction deserves your energy. Real precision isn't about doing more. It's about doing only what hits. Stop wasting cuts. Start delivering clean hits. One move, on time. No excess. Add this line just before CTA. When you hit like this, you no longer chase. You command. CTA, transition to next video. In the next video, we'll unlock mental minimalism. How to strip your thinking down to the purest edge, so you process less, but cut deeper. Subscribe. Keep as is.